He opened his eyes slowly. The room was cold and dark. Strange lights blinked on machines all around him. He tried to move but felt heavy chains holding him down. Panic rose in his chest. Where was he? How did he get here? The air smelled strange, like metal and chemicals. He looked around and saw other people, like him, trapped and chained. Their faces were tired and scared. No one spoke. The silence was broken only by the beeping of machines. Alien guards stood near the walls. They were tall, with gray skin and large black eyes. They watched the prisoners carefully. The main character's heart beat faster. He knew he was in trouble. He tried to remember what happened. The last thing he recalled was a bright light, then nothing. Now he was in this cold alien lab, a prisoner. Suddenly, an alarm rang loudly. Red lights flashed across the room. The aliens moved quickly, shouting in a strange language. The prisoners tensed. Something was coming. The main character looked at the other prisoners. They shared the same fear. The aliens grabbed some of them and dragged them away. The main character felt a surge of panic. What would happen to those taken? Would he be next? He noticed a small device near his chains, a control panel. It had buttons and lights, but he did not know how to use it. Still, it was something. A chance. The aliens returned and prepared the lab for an experiment. The main character watched in horror as a machine was set up nearby, one that looked like it could control minds or hurt people. The aliens spoke about testing their prisoners, using them for cruel experiments. He thought of his home, his family. He promised himself he would survive, no matter what. The hours passed slowly. The main character studied the guards' movements. He noticed patterns, when they looked away, when they relaxed. He searched for weaknesses. One prisoner whispered, "We can't stay here. We have to escape." The main character nodded silently. He knew they had no choice. That night, when the guards were less alert, the main character moved his chains. Slowly, carefully, he pressed buttons on the control panel. To his surprise, one chain released with a soft click. He looked around. The other prisoners were still tied up. He had to help them. Quietly, he freed a man next to him. The man whispered, "Thank you." They worked together, freeing others one. By one dot suddenly, footsteps echoed. The aliens were coming back early. The prisoners froze. The main character's heart pounded. The alien guards entered the room, surprised to see the prisoners free. They shouted and raised weapons. Chaos erupted. The prisoners fought with whatever they could find, broken chains, pieces of metal, their bare hands. The main character grabbed a sharp tool and defended himself. The aliens fired their weapons. But the prisoners were fast and desperate. The room became a battlefield. Alarms blared louder. More guards rushed in. The prisoners were pushed back, but did not give up. In the confusion, the main character spotted an open door, a chance to escape. He shouted, "This way. Follow me." Some prisoners ran after him. Others fought to hold the aliens. They ran through dark corridors, alarms still ringing. The main character led them through twists and turns, trying to find a way out, but the aliens were close behind. They reached a large door, sealed shut. The main character looked around for controls. He found a panel and pressed buttons quickly. The door hissed and slid open. They ran through and found themselves in another part of the lab, filled with strange machines and glowing tubes. The prisoners were scared, but kept moving. They had no time to rest. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the building. The main character looked back and saw part of the lab collapsing. They were trapped. The aliens closed in. The prisoners prepared to fight again. The main character clenched his fists. "We survive," he said, quietly, no matter what. The fight for survival had only just begun. The cold walls of the alien Lab echoed with the distant sounds of alarms and footsteps. The prisoners, once broken and scared, now stood with a new fire in their eyes. The main character, who they had come to see as their leader, felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. He knew their chance to escape was small, but he was ready to fight. Chains still held many prisoners tightly, but the main character had learned to work the strange control panels. With trembling hands, he pressed buttons and flipped switches, trying to free the others. Slowly, one by one, the chains fell away. A prisoner named Kian, a strong man with a deep voice, stood free and stretched his aching limbs. "We must act fast," Kian said. "The aliens will come back with more guards." The main character nodded. "We fight or we die here. There is no other choice." The prisoners moved quickly, gathering whatever tools they could find, broken pieces of metal, glass shards, and strange alien devices. Some were scared, others angry, but all knew that this was their only chance. Suddenly, footsteps thundered down the corridor. The alien guards returned, their faces twisted in anger. "The prisoners have broken loose." One shouted in their harsh language. The prisoners prepared for battle. The main character took a deep breath and stepped forward. When the guards entered, they were met with unexpected resistance. The prisoners fought fiercely, surprising the aliens with their determination. The main character swung a metal pipe, knocking one guard to the floor. Another guard raised a stun weapon and fired, but the prisoners dodged and rushed forward. The lab became a war zone. Machines beeped and sparked. Lights flickered. Shouts and growls filled the air. The aliens called for reinforcements, but the prisoners would not stop. The main character led his group through the maze of corridors, seeking the exit. They found locked doors and traps, but they found ways around, or through them. At one point, they encountered a large chamber filled with strange tubes. Inside were other prisoners, unconscious and connected to machines. The main character's heart ached. "We must save them," he said. Carefully, they cut the tubes and freed the prisoners. Some woke and looked around, confused but alive. Their numbers growing, the group felt stronger. But danger was near. Alien reinforcements poured into the lab. Soldiers in heavy armor marched through the halls, their weapons ready. The prisoners set traps, loose wires, broken glass, and overturned tables to slow the enemy. The battle grew fierce. The main character found himself face to face with an alien guard, taller and stronger than him. They fought hand to hand, each trying to overpower the other. With a quick move, the main character knocked the guard down and ran to rejoin his group. The prisoners pushed forward, fighting for every step. Suddenly, the lab shook violently. An explosion rocked the building. The main character looked up to see smoke filling the air. "We need to get out, now!" he shouted. The group ran through twisting corridors, avoiding falling debris. They reached a large door marked with strange symbols. The main character approached the control panel and quickly pressed the buttons. The door hissed open. Outside, they saw a dark hallway leading to what looked like a hangar. Hope rose in their hearts, but before they could move, more alien soldiers appeared. A fierce firefight began. The prisoners fought with all their might. The main character spotted a group of guards aiming at their escape route. He grabbed a pipe and charged. With a loud crash, he broke through their line. The prisoners surged forward. They reached the hangar, where small ships sat ready. The main character found a ship with its door open. "We take this," he said. The prisoners climbed in. The engine started with a loud roar. The ship lifted off, escaping the lab. As they flew away, the main character looked back at the lab. It was still burning, a symbol of their fight and sacrifice. They were free, for now, but the war was far from over. The alien captors would Come after them. The fight for survival had only just begun. The small ship flew fast and quiet through the dark space. Inside, the prisoners caught their breath. They were free from the alien lab, but the danger was not over. The main character, still strong and determined, looked at the glowing screens. In front of him, "We need to find out more about this place," he said. "The aliens will come after us. We must be ready." Mia, one of the freed prisoners, nodded. "I was a scientist before this. I believe the lab holds terrible secrets. Weapons, machines, experiments. We must stop them," the prisoners agreed. Their escape was just the start. They needed to learn what the aliens were planning. The ship headed toward a nearby moon where they could hide and explore. When they landed, the main character and a small team went out to scout the area. The moon was rocky and cold. Strange machines were scattered across the surface, signs that the aliens used this place for their cruel work. The team found a hidden entrance leading underground. They moved carefully through dark tunnels until they reached another lab. Bigger and more dangerous. Inside, strange devices hummed and glowed. Glass tubes held mysterious creatures, some alive, some lifeless. The prisoners' faces grew pale. The aliens were doing terrible experiments on many species. The main character spotted a large console with alien writing. Mia studied it closely. "This controls the lab's weapons," she said. "They have machines that could destroy entire planets." Fear and anger filled the group. They could not allow this to continue. Suddenly, a warning alarm blared. The team froze. The aliens had detected their presence. "Prepare for attack." The main character shouted. The team took cover behind machines as alien soldiers poured into the lab. A fierce battle began. The prisoners fought bravely, using the lab's own weapons against the aliens. Mia quickly hacked the console. "I can try to shut down their weapons," she said, her fingers flying over the controls. The main character protected her, fighting off enemy guards. With a loud beep, the weapons powered down. The aliens growled in frustration, but more soldiers were coming. The team decided to use the lab's secret weapon, a powerful device stored deep inside the facility. It was dangerous and untested, but they had no choice. The main character led the way, moving through narrow corridors and traps. At last, they reached a large chamber where the weapon was kept. It was huge, glowing with energy. Mia examined the controls. "This weapon could wipe out entire fleets," she said. "But using it here could destroy us all," the prisoners argued. Some wanted to destroy the weapon to keep it from the enemy. Others wanted to use it to end the war. The main character made the decision. "We use it to fight for our freedom." But carefully, as they prepared the weapon, alarms sounded again. The aliens were launching a full attack. The lab shook with explosions. The prisoners stood, ready. The fight for survival was far from over. The alien lab trembled under the weight of battle. Explosions echoed through its dark halls. The prisoners, once weak and frightened, now stood united and strong. They fought like wild storms, breaking through enemy lines and gaining ground. Captain Leilau, the main character, the leader, moved with purpose. Every step was a strike against their captors. His eyes burned with determination. "We fight for our freedom," he told his team. "We fight for all those who suffer." The aliens sent reinforcements. Heavy soldiers with armor and deadly weapons poured into the lab. The prisoners faced them bravely, using the lab's strange machines and weapons against their enemies. Mia worked at a control panel, hacking alien systems to turn the lab's defenses to their side. "I'm opening doors," she said. "We can trap the enemy." The prisoners set up traps in narrow corridors. They overturned tables and broke pipes to create barriers. The alien soldiers charged, but the prisoners were ready. The battle was fierce. the main character found himself face to face with an alien commander. The commander was taller and stronger, but the main character fought with skill and heart. With a quick move, he disarmed the commander and forced him to retreat. Around them, the prisoners pushed forward. They freed other captives from cells and brought them into the fight. The aliens tried to regroup, but the prisoners' resistance was growing too strong. Suddenly, an explosion shook the lab. A fire spread quickly through one wing. The prisoners worked together to save those trapped. Amid the chaos, the main character saw a chance. The lab's central control room held the key to their victory. If we take control there, we can end this, he said. The prisoners moved quickly, fighting through enemy soldiers. They reached the control room, guarded by heavy defenses. Mia hacked the security system, while the others held off the guards. The doors opened. Inside, the control room was filled with blinking lights and alien technology. Mia accessed the main console. Now we control the lab, she said with a smile. Suddenly, alarms blared. The aliens were not giving up. The prisoners braced themselves. They were ready to fight and to win. The tide was turning. Earth's captive warriors were rising. The prisoners felt hope for the first time in a long while. They had control of the alien lab systems and had turned the battle in their favor. But the enemy was far from defeated. Commander Varrock, the alien leader, was furious. "We will crush them," he roared. "Send everything we have. No mercy." Alien ships darkened the skies above the lab. Reinforcements poured in, heavily armed soldiers, giant machines, and new weapons the prisoners had never seen before. The lab shook with the force of explosions. The prisoners fought hard, but the enemy's power was overwhelming. The main character saw many friends fall around him. Each loss made his heart heavier, but he pushed forward. "We cannot lose now," he said. "We fight for freedom." Mia warned, "The enemy has new weapons that can block our signals and jam our machines. We must be careful." The prisoners divided into small groups. Some fought to hold the walls. Others worked to keep their control of the lab systems. The main character led a team to find and destroy the enemy's new weapon. They moved through burning halls and broken corridors. Alien soldiers attacked at every turn. The fight was fierce and brutal. At last, they found the weapon, a huge device that sent waves to disable technology. The main character and his team planted explosives. Suddenly, a squad of alien soldiers appeared. A fierce battle broke out. With courage and skill, the prisoners fought back. The main character faced the alien captain in a fierce duel. Blow after blow, they struggled. Finally, the main character landed a powerful strike, knocking the captain out. The prisoners detonated the explosives. The weapon exploded in a fireball. Enemy technology began to fail. The prisoners cheered. But there was no time to celebrate. Commander Varrock unleashed his secret weapon, a massive cannon aimed at Earth's capital city. The countdown began. Mia looked at the screen. "If that cannon fires, millions will die." The main character and his team raced to find and destroy the cannon. They fought their way through heavy defenses. Time was running out. Layla planted explosives on the cannon's core. "Run!" she shouted. The cannon exploded just as the countdown reached 0. The city was safe. The enemy fleet began to retreat. The prisoners had won this battle, but the war was not over. The main character looked at the rising sun. "We fight to protect what we love," he said. The enemy was strong, but Earth's warriors were stronger, and they would never give up. The battlefield was silent, not because the fight was over, but because everything had stopped moving. The enemy's massive war machines stood frozen, locked in place. Smoke rose from broken towers. The sky was split with burning clouds, and in the center, Alira stood. Inside her mech sword in hand, glowing with a light that was not from any machine. Humans had given the elves technology, but Alira had given it something else. A soul? Status? Captain Rook's voice crackled over the comm. Systems are stable, Alira replied. But even as she spoke, she could feel the mech's heartbeat slowing. It was not meant to do what she just made it do. The crystal core inside had burned hotter than the sun, shattering the limits humans thought possible. On the enemy's side, silence broke. One mech larger than any they had faced stepped forward. It was black, with a crown-like structure on its head. Champion, a deep voice echoed across the field. Your people's courage has been proven, but we are not yet done. The enemy leader was here. The one who had started this war. Inside her cockpit, Alira gripped her controls. Then let us finish it, she said. The black mech charged. Each step cracked the ground. The air itself seemed to run away from the force of its movement. Alira met it head on. Their swords clashed, and the sound was like a mountain breaking in half. Rook shouted through the comm, "Alira, your power levels, I know," she said. "This ends now." She remembered something the human engineers had told her. The mech's crystal could overload. If it did, it would burn everything nearby, including her. The humans had built it as a last resort weapon, but they had warned. Only a fool would use it. Alira was no fool. But she was ready to die. The black mech's blade sliced through her mech's shoulder. Warning lights screamed. Metal tore. Alira gritted her teeth and shoved her sword into the enemy's chest, locking them together. "You fight well," the enemy leader said. "But courage cannot change fate." "You're wrong," she whispered. She reached for the overload switch. Rook's voice came again, desperate now. "Don't do it. We can still win without you." "No," Alira said softly. "You win. Because of me." She pressed the switch. The crystal core exploded with light. It was not fire. It was something older. Something the elves had known before humans had learned to walk. The blast spread through the battlefield, shattering enemy. Machines like Glass Dot, the black mech, fell to its knees. "What is this power?" The enemy leader gasped. Alira's voice echoed, calm and proud. "It's not your war anymore." The explosion consumed them both. Hours later, the smoke cleared. Human soldiers searched the battlefield, calling. Names. They found Alira's mech in pieces, but she was not inside. Some say she died that day. Others say she walked away, the mech's core having carried her to another place. Captain Rook stood at the wreckage, his voice low. "We gave them machines," he said. "They gave us hope." And so, humans and elves rebuilt together. The war ended not because of technology, but because of one warrior's choice. Somewhere in the forests beyond the cities, people whisper of a figure tall, graceful, wearing armor of light. When she passes, the wind sounds like a sword being drawn. The elven maiden who fought in a human mech. The one who ended a war. The one who never came home.